Yeah, all right, I'm Dr. Friday and we're in the kitchen. Today we're making dependent pie. Many of you really have no idea who truly is your dependent and who do you think is your dependent, but the Internal Revenue Service says, no, no, no. So let's go through the recipe. It's very close to shepherd's pie. Okay, so we're going to have chives, mushrooms, onions, tomato sauce, beef broth, a bit of flour, keep that starch in there. You've got either lamb, chicken, I have chose beef. You've got Worcestershire sauce, oil, some herbs, some mixed depending on your taste, and then just a little bit more flour that we're going to use to roll out the crust. I love these machines because I'm a small eater, and if you have a small family, just like when we talk about taxes, the small children, anyone under the age of 17, is going to be a dependent more than someone over the age of 17. Okay, so quickly, you want to have your burner hot and ready, and you're going to go ahead and start with the meat. And while you're doing that, let's talk a little bit about a typical story I'd like to share with you. While we're doing that, we'll chop up some mushrooms and some onions. In this story, you are a person that has a girlfriend. Your girlfriend, or maybe even a fiance, has a child. That child lives with you, or sometimes you're the main dependent, right? I mean, the main breadwinner. So when I say that, maybe your girlfriend doesn't work, you're taking care of the whole family, you're dealing with everything financial. Now, in that scenario, do you think that the girlfriend and the child are tax deductions? Think very closely. You got to be in the mind of the Internal Revenue Service. So if you say, oh yeah, that person's a dependent because I'm paying, which one of the main rules, don't forget the onion, you know how I love my onion. One of the main rules when you're talking about dependents is, of course, the 50% care. If you pay more than 50% of somebody's care, theoretically you're thinking that person's a dependent. Not always. According to the Internal Revenue Service, in that scenario, these people are not dependents. You're taking care of them, but they're not relatives. They're not related in any sense of the word. Don't worry, I'm watching where my fingers are, guys, if you're a little nervous out there. So if you are taking care of strangers, and theoretically your girlfriend is not related, therefore, according to the Internal Revenue Service, they are strangers, then you are going to have a lot more proof that they are dependents. And age will be one, how much income, is she receiving benefits from the government, food stamps, some other form to take care of these children. So in that scenario, guys, if you have a girlfriend and that person has a child, you are not their dependent, therefore they cannot be on your tax return as a deduction, all because of that situation, right? I'm looking for a fast and easy way. There are certain deductions when it comes to taxes that don't qualify, right? Like if you don't have enough mortgage interest and property tax, me telling you about medical expenses and charitable contributions doesn't make a difference. Well, the same thing when it comes to cooking to a point. I want to make sure that things taste good, but I don't want to spend all day in the kitchen. So I am big on pre-made crust. Back to my dependents. Another scenario is that you have married and you have someone else's child that lives with you. Now, is that the same thing as a girlfriend with a child? Not. Now you've married them. They are now part of your family. Even if something happens and you divorce that person and that child is somehow, you're still the main caregiver of them, supporting them, they've become a part of your family. You were married to the wife or married to the mother, therefore that child can be your dependent. So you want to be very careful on how you do this because most of the time it's not the exemption that we're worried about. Most of the time what it is the earned income credit. If you have, and this happens all the time, guys, earned income credit is given out pretty easily. You go to some of those tax preparers, they'll throw earned income credit for everybody. Remember, your child has to live in this country. You cannot just get it because you happen to be their parent. All right, so moving along quickly, we're going to add the beef broth in there after that's browned, and we're going to add the tomato sauce. Again, think of these as if you've got cousins, you've got nephews. Those are dependents. They're related to you, right? We're going to add just a touch of flour to make sure that that's going to thicken it up just a tad. And then really quickly, all the other little sauces and oil and my seasoning. Okay, we're going to spin all that in there. And once all this is cooked up and thickened a bit, the next thing you're going to do is you're going to actually take and you're going to fill the pies up here, and you're going to take the second one and you're going to put tops on them. But since time is flying by, we're going to actually show you the finished product. Because when you're talking about dependent pie, you're going to have a situation where this is going to be made up of children that are related to you, that are dealing with you, and they have a family relation. It can be generations, but it's still your dependent. So let's take a bite out of dependent pie.